Yeah.
Craig, booked yourself a spot in the grand final, and how good does that feel?
Yeah, actually, not quite as excited as I probably have thought I'd be. It just sort of, I think the thing I was happiest with most was our form today. I thought we were a lot more consistent than we have been probably the last month or 5 weeks. And that's probably the reason we won the game too, to be quite honest. I thought the Sharks have had a really good end to the season, and I thought they defended their try line today really well. So we got a little bit frustrated there a couple of times, I think. But like I say, it probably hasn't quite sunk in for me yet. But just thinking about what we're doing tomorrow and what who we're playing type thing, we don't find that out until Sunday. So like I say, it's really good, but I think it'll probably sink in a little bit more tomorrow for me.
Is it sort of like a sense of relief almost to put a performance like that and to feel the confidence and the momentum next week?
Yeah, I think it's a sense of relief in that we found basically nearly a consistent 80 minutes, which we probably haven't produced for the last 5 or 6 weeks. So that's a bit of a relief. So then sort of understanding what winning today means, that probably hasn't sunk into me yet.
Has it sunk in for you, Harry? Are you excited?
I think it's the opportunity. Like you set out, started pre-season to be in the shoes that we're in, and I guess for now we can't get too lost in the week and too lost in just being happy to be there. It's about knuckling down and owning what's next, and I feel like we've done a pretty good job of that over the last period, but there's still plenty of stuff we need to work on, and like Craig said, we don't know who we're playing for a couple of days, so it's more about us recovering well and making sure we iron some creases out or get some things in place that we can take into the week.
Craig, 22 days since Jerome Hughes fractured his forearm, and then he comes out and puts a performance like that. Just speak to sort of just how instrumental he is for this side and how big a boost that was for you.
Oh yeah, without doubt. It was a big call to leave Jonah out. He done a really good job last week. But the thing with Hughesy, when I spoke to him about it, and he spoke to me, he was just so confident that he was okay. And he's not he's not as if he's overconfident or a cocky kid at all. So when he told me he was ready, I knew he'd be ready. And then talking to the medical people, they thought that what he'd done with his rehab, but also a little bit with the training, that he should be okay. So as I said, the confidence that he showed and that he was going to be okay, that convinced me that he was right to play.
As much as you would have liked to have had him that whole the last few weeks, is it also given him a bit of time for that shoulder to come a bit better as well?
Oh yeah, I think the break he's had, there's a fair few parts of his body that gets back to normal. It's hard work, playing every week and being like one of the smaller players in the team. Like the opposition aims their attack at the halves a fair bit. So I think it was a bit of a regeneration for him, I suppose. But certainly to get over the injury that he had, was quite remarkable. But as I said, he was just so confident that I couldn't really leave him out, to be quite honest.
More of you too, didn't he, Craig? Well, they looked like they went after him pretty physically out there, and was I guess on the other side, that was it a relief for you? Like when he was, I think he fended off someone when he scored that try off his left arm. Like was it a bit of a relief?
Yeah. As you say, they were always going to test him out, and he knew that. I think he swapped positions over a couple of times, to make it a little bit harder to get at him. But at the end of the day, like I say, his running game, he wasn't hesitant with his running game at all. He wasn't hesitant with his kicking. He just proves that, what he said was dead set right. He was ready to play, and I thought, with all due respect, he was one of our better players.
Was Stefanos one of his best games, you think, of this season, in your eyes?
Yeah, without a doubt. But with all due respect, he's been building probably the last 8 or 10 weeks. I think when he first came here, he was we probably did things a little bit differently to what he'd been used to. It's not saying it's right or wrong, but he took a little while to, I suppose, understand what his role was and like how to do his role, in this team. But the last 8 or 10 weeks, I don't think I've seen a better front rower in the competition. To be quite honest, he was outstanding, and he was certainly he led the way today, and he's just such a modest guy. Like he's the some of those guys that they're really good players. They got a bit of front about him, but he's got nothing of that. He's just a real down to earth, modest, lovely bloke, and like I say, his last 8 or 10 weeks he's been outstanding.
Craig, can you describe the importance of Stefanos for 20 minutes out there? He was really putting the bumpers up and knocking Sharks players left, right, and centre.
By the sound of that, Kingy might have to move over and get a new love child. But I just echo Craig. As a teammate and as a player, I've just loved how Steph's come in and wanted to just be a better person, better player. He's come down with that at the front of his mind, and when you have that attitude in this organisation, you can definitely get a lot out of it. And I think he's just gone about his way about earning respect through his actions, and he's certainly done that within the playing group, within the club, the organisation as a whole. And like Craig said, it's been building, and he's probably been one of our best players over the last 8 to 10 weeks with the way he's playing his game. So I think it's exciting for us, and the thing is, he's just going to go out there, and he knows his role now, and he's just got to narrow in on that and get it done. And I think we can say that about a number of players in our team, and that's probably what's most important now, is narrowing in on our roles and getting that done this week.
Craig, collectively, your spine hasn't played together a whole heap during the season, but to come out tonight and the work that they do, what did you make of it?
I think that we still got a bit of improvement in our combination, but the whole 4 of them, I thought, the thing that stood out for me is how well they played individually, and that's not, being uncomplimentary. I just thought they'd done their jobs really well without probably, actually linking together too well overall. And I think, that'll certainly come. Like Hughesy's been out for a bit, and Paps has been out for a bit, and so look, our combinations hopefully will improve, during the week. But I just thought, they all just put their heart and soul into it tonight, and really got their jobs done really well.
Harry, how'd you go last year during grand final week? Have you reflected on the pressures of the week, and is there anything coming into this week that you might do a bit differently?
Yeah, well, it's all learning, it's all experience, and we'd be silly not to reflect on last year and what went right, what went wrong for us, and make sure we have those conversations and get those things, put them in place, or what worked for us last year, what didn't work for us. But like I said, we've got a really good team above the team, if that makes sense. So make sure that they sort of let them do that, and make sure us as a team, we just focus on playing footy and getting our preparation right to make sure we play well on Sunday.
Harry, do you feel like you're in a better position as a team, but also as a spine, than what you were this time last year?
Yes and no. I guess you've got the experience of last year and what the week looked like, but last season we were probably cruising coming into that game, and we got into a bit of a tough arm wrestle against Penrith, and yeah, that probably hurt us a little bit. Whereas this year we've really had to fight for every win all season. I think we've had to stay in it and come out with different scenarios to win games. So I think we can take that experience. But like I said, I think last year was a different team to what we're going into this year. You talk about Stefano. We've got new players within our squad, new staff. So it's more of a new opportunity, and that's exciting for us as a team.
Craig, do you think there'll be a lot of talk next week about the fact that you have 2 days extra to prepare than who wins on Sunday? Do you think that's an advantage?
Yeah, I think it is an advantage, but with all due respect, we didn't make that decision. A lot of people sort of been a bit critical, as if, oh no, we want to play Friday, you have to put them on Sunday. Like at the end of the day, it's the NRL made the decision, not us. So, yeah.
Craig, from a coaching perspective, you talk about grand finals and they all represent and mean something a little bit different each time you get there. This time around, is it more of the making amends, or is it from last year, or is it the taking that extra step and that unfinished business mentality?
Oh, no, I don't think it's making amends at all. Like, you know, we ran into a really good side last year in the grand final in Penrith, and you know, they know how to win grand finals, as we see, you know, the last 4 years. And you know, I find it amazing that people say, oh, you know, you get to the grand final, but you failed the year. Like, please. At the end of the day, it's hard to get into a grand final, and it's extra hard to win one. And so, like I say, we found a way today to get into the grand final, and hopefully, you know, we can find a way to finish it off next week. But at the end of the day, there's going to be 2 teams there, and they're going to be 2 good teams, and you know, like I say, see what happens. But like I say, this thing about, you know, you've had a failed season to get beat in the grand final, that's a load of crap. It's hard to get into a grand final, and as I said, it's a fair bit harder to win one.